So, Chad,
Awesome.
welcome. I give you a
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thanks a lot for joining me here, just with the talk. Yeah, I think we just see where it goes. I think I want to take an introduction, so it's actually pretty famous, kind of funny as well when how we get to know each other. And I'm very happy to announce that thanks to you, we were actually already on TV.
That's right. Yeah, you were. Had you on TV with a bunch of your teas, and the people absolutely loved it. They went crazy with that. And I'm trying to do my best to promote NeoTeas too, just because I'm a huge fan of yours. Like I mentioned when we were talking earlier, I've learned so much from watching your videos, and it has really just transformed my knowledge of tea. And I've been able to share it, and also my appreciation of tea, because like I said before, there is so much information. You don't know where to go. You don't know how to get everything set up. But when I was talking to you guys, you really dialed in Japanese green tea, organic Japanese green tea, which I think is so important. And it's hard to find good ones. So I know if it's coming from you guys, it's been vetted, it's good, it's taste tested. You've actually visited. I love your documentaries. If people watching at home haven't seen them yet, check those out. You feel like you're taking a tour of Japan. I've never been there, but I really enjoyed watching because I felt like I was. So you guys have done so much. Oh, let me just swipe that off real fast. There we go. Okay, so thank you too. You're providing a service.
No, it's a pleasure. You know, it's like I started like in 2015. I really caught the bug when I was in Japan. So since there, I was like, wow, man, tea is like wine without the alcohol, and this is amazing. It's healthy and stuff. And then we just started, and I also started with non-organic tea in the beginning, but at the point it was just like you having it's a natural and it's a healthy product, and it has a lot of healthy appeal as well. And I was like, okay, but then going with pesticides is not the right. Didn't feel so right. So then I cut out this part, and then we really went full organic. And it's amazing to share this, and also to get to know the farmers, and then they really explain you see how they live, how much kind of effort they put into it, and it's just amazing. Then
and the passion and the history, the passion they have and the history in their fields, just to see that. And then we're the beneficiary of all their knowledge. And some of the people you introduced in the documentary, they're multiple generation farmers. So we get their tea, and it's like from hundreds and maybe longer years of experience coming right to us, and we don't have to do anything for it. So that's kind of a privilege too. It really makes you appreciate every sip and every glass. You know, here in America, people are all about often, the big gulps, getting the huge 60-ounce drink or whatever, and just drinking a lot of it. But thanks to, like you guys, your tea, you really get appreciation. I'm using the small glass, same one you're using, I got. And that's it. And so, a 4-ounce one will last me a long time because I'm savoring. Every sip means so much more. And it's so contrary to how we think here often in the States. So that's something else I've learned. But I have a question for you, because everybody also watching wants to learn more about you. So how did you end up in Japan in 2015? Were you into tea before and you went specifically, or was it just a coincidence? Was it for some other reason?
No, actually it was my girlfriend at the time. She brought me to Japanese tea. And it was kind of a mix. It's like, I found it funny because I was always looking for something, because since I started my professional career, I'm super passionate about food, and especially food or drinks which are close to just normal, not like the luxury food or stuff like that. Like real high-end food was never my passion. It's like healthy, simple food. And I got a little bit into this vegan world and everything. I tested a little bit around, and then somehow I was at the presentation, and there was a lady there from the UK, and she was explaining a little bit the English market. And then she said, like, she said tea is going to be the coffee of the 21st century. And then it was like, okay, that's actually pretty interesting. And if you go back a little bit in the history, it's like we were much more of a tea drinker society. The US was much more of a tea drinker, especially green tea drinkers. This was until I think until the end of the 19th, early 20th century, the US was a big consumer of tea in general, also from Japanese tea. And then the Second World War changed a little bit this this situation. But we were huge tea drinkers, and then coffee just is very, very present and very strong. And I was always asking myself, like, okay, there must be some way that tea has its place, especially in the Western society. And then, yeah, and then my girlfriend, she was in 2011 by then in Japan, and then she came back and she brought me some tea. And in the beginning, I didn't like it either. So it's really a little bit a way in as well. And then you get really used to it and you start really to like it. And then I was getting curious about the different types of teas. And then when I went to Japan, then I really opened my eyes that actually each farmer, like somebody who produces wine, has its own taste, and every tea is different, and there are different techniques to it and everything. And it was so complex in a way, but so for if you have a curious mind, I guess tea is the right world to be in. If you need structure and the simultaneous taste all the time, maybe tea is not the way to go. And I think that's what really kind of caught my interest. And then and then it was just a matter of coincidence. I had a good friend. I was playing theater, actually, like amateur theater in Switzerland, and I had a guy there. He was a huge Japan fan. Then he went to Japan to do his PhD. I went there with my girlfriend, and then I told him, yeah, I'm kind of interested maybe to start something with tea. And then he said, okay, let's try it. And then that's how we started. Yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah, that's a great story. And then here you are today. Who knew,
yeah,
right?
Here we are today.
Yeah.
Talking.
And unlike wine, you can drink. If you're having wine at 7 a.m., it's a little weird. But if you're having tea all day, it's okay. So I'm gonna brew some up as we're talking. Actually. Ooh, and I've got my favorite.
You're even more than you're even better equipped than I am. Look, I only have to know. That's really nice.
Have one of my favorites, the Yamaga no Soto. I think I'm saying it right. I hope so. But that's what I'll be brewing today as we're talking. Yeah. I love this tea. Can't get enough of it. So I got started with you guys, through your Sencha tea sampler. That was the first thing I tried. I think either the 5 or the 9 pack. And I never knew how different each Sencha could be. And then even the different types of, the Asamushi versus the Fukamushi, and then the different types of Fukamushis and the different regions. And that's why I really loved your channel. I mean, I watch the videos, I listen to podcasts if I can, and I've really kind of taken a deep dive into it too, because, you show people, oh, here's your green tea, and they think it's all the same. And then you realize the difference between Chinese or Japanese, and then within Japan, the regions and the different types of steaming. And it's really great. And now I can order, better to what I understand. I seem to like the Fukamushi style better, a little bit of the sweeter side, and maybe some nuttiness and things. So I'm learning too, and it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's also so Will, who is doing who's our voiceover. It's like the voiceover of the video. So him and myself, we do the content, and mainly him actually. And we both believe that Fukamushi is tea which is not known, but I think it could be liked very much, especially by the Western consumer, as we are not so much looking for the astringent side of the tea. Because
exactly.
Yeah, and the Japanese,
it smooths it out a lot,
like it.
Right? Yeah, it smooths it out nicely. And here we go. I've got my pour going. What kind are you drinking today?
Yeah, I'm a hojicha. Cold winter time. I take a hojicha.
What time of day is it there?
It's 7 rounds, 7-ish.
At night.
Yeah.
At night. Okay. Yeah. So you don't want too much caffeine. Here you go. Yeah. Cheers.
So cheers. Pleasure.
It's the best. I could drink this all day. So good.
Yeah. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
How many brews do you do normally with the tea?
I usually do 3. So on the Fukamushi, I find I like it best if I just do the second and third, like a quick flash steam. Like I pour the water in, I pretty much immediately pour it out. I saw you were saying the other day on your mega sample walkthrough, you often like the second steep better of when you were doing the Yamaga. But for me, the first steep, nothing beats it. I can't. It gets a little more vegetal on the second steep, so I really savor the first steep. It's my favorite. So, but I go 3 steeps, and then I usually mix it up with a little soy and white rice wine vinegar, and eat it after. And you feel so good. You feel great after. You really do. Yeah. I love sharing it with people. Sometimes I'm on set with people and I'll bring a little tea travel set and I'll pull out the green tea and I'll make it for everyone on set, and everyone gathers around, takes a little break. It's really cool. So it's been a real bonding and sharing experience too that I've gotten to do.
Yeah, it's true. It's like when you look at tea, and this is, I think, also the cool thing about tea, because you kind of savor the same cup, and then you really, because it is so different always with its taste. It's just a very social drink as well. Finally, to bring like people together, and that's,
yeah, it is. And it's fun to share and kind of expose people to better teas, because so many times I go, oh, I drink tea, and they've only had maybe tea in a tea bag or the regular Tetley tea or whatever. And you give them this and they see how nuanced it is and so flavorful, and of course how they feel afterwards. And then they're like, wow, and they're more interested. So it's cool to just share that with people, just like you've shared it with so many people. And I love your passion. You always say your goal is to share this tea, to spread the word about it. And, it certainly works. So keep it up. You're doing a service, I think. So what do? You have a job besides just Neo Teas, I assume?
Yes. I work in marketing for a drinks company. Yeah, here in Switzerland. Yeah.
Oh, so that works out. So no wonder why you know what you're doing here. But hopefully one day you can just segue into just doing Neo Teas full time. Is that one of your goals?
Yeah. Yes. I think that's one of my goals. It's like I just take it day by day. That's the thing. It's like it's not. It's like by the end, I'm not really a goal setting guy. I'm more like I try to flow, and I hope that the flow goes upside, not down. So I tried, like you always have this situation like, oh, I have to do goals for the year, and I have to, and then you always have these programs and they tell you I should set a goal, and if you don't have a goal, but somehow for me I found out like I tried to drift and I tried to develop it at the same time. So that's a little bit, I cannot say if, when I try, but I'm open to any outcome. The cool thing is already now we see the responses, or to have this chat with you, or to have the messages from people like really saying like, wow, this is amazing. I love this tea. Now we started a little bit advertising also, and we advertise certain teas, and then we really get like people saying, oh, this is the best tea I ever had. And it's super rewarding, and there's no kind of clear goal.
Even when you do your Instagram lives, you get that instant feedback and the people are watching it. And that's really fun too. And again, especially because you can probably hear the tea brewing, again, the water, but we're stuck in quarantine. So to kind of, when I see, hey, Neo Teas is live, if I'm free, it's kind of fun to sit down with people from all over the world and have a cup of tea. Because otherwise, maybe you're just sitting in your house, and this kind of broadens everybody's community in a sense. So I think we all need that these days more than ever, probably.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no. For me, I love the Instagram lives, because they're they're interactive. You talk with several people, several questions, and I just try to answer, if I can, all of them. And then
and you're very stylish. You always have a cool outfit on. I have to compliment you with either the blazer or the sweater. That's all right. But it's
today on the back. I'm very sorry. Today I'm talking to you and I'm not stylish. Now I give you definitely the more stylish note than I have today.
I thought for the big meeting with me you'd wear a tuxedo or something. I'm offended, but maybe next time.
Okay.
Next time. So one other question. I know you were going to interview me, but I've got so many questions. So how did you meet Will? Because he's in Virginia, right? So that's obviously so far from Switzerland. And how did you guys get to work together? I'm sure people at home are more interested in you than me anyway. So these are good questions.
Yeah. It was actually funny, like when he was quite early already, quite big as an account on Instagram. And then we kind of got in contact. And then he was like, hey, shall I post a photo of your tea? And I was like, yeah, why not? I can send you tea, no problem, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, so what's the price? And then he introduced me actually to what it is, an influencer. And it was really funny. But then he was really interested in what we did and the story. And I already started a little bit on my own on Instagram. But just from time to time, I posted a photo of a tea. And then he got really interested. So actually we met over Instagram, and then we kind of I said, okay, maybe I have to translate some texts. And then one day I just said, maybe we just try it out. And he was like, yeah, you don't have to pay me a big salary. And we just start off and we see where it goes. And now we do it since I would say since 2 years.
Yeah.
We do it together. And since, now it's 2.5 years already. And 2 years we have our online shop and we try to spread the tea.
Yeah, and it's been going well, right? I mean, I know you were been sold out with a lot of the quarantine where you couldn't even get more tea for a while. But so over the past 2 years, have you seen a lot of growth?
Yeah, so especially COVID accelerated the sales, definitely. So this helped, but we were also struggling really hard to get the tea even to the US. So it was really hard for us. But now, since 3 weeks now, we have actually a professional warehouse in the US. So now we are fine. But we were struggling for quite some time. It was very difficult. We kind of had to ship tea from Japan to Germany, because from Japan you couldn't send directly anymore to the US. So we had to send it to Germany, then from Germany to the US. So it was it was a pricey and turbulent, and we sweated a lot of situations. We were like, okay, we can hold off for like 1 or 2 weeks if we don't get any tea, and everything was blocked at customs, and we were like, oh no.
Oh no. Probably couldn't track it. It's tough. But now you're fully stocked and loaded again.
Now it's good. Now we're fine. No, it's
that's great.
We're happy this and it's also for us, it was super important, because even before COVID we were talking that often our teas they take 10, 12, even 14 days to ship. Some cities even take nearly 3 weeks, and we were already realizing that we should move to the US, but then COVID just accelerated everything. So that's why we decided to be closer as well.
And now you're shipping, I believe, from a warehouse in Virginia, right? For US orders?
It's actually the warehouse is in Dallas.
Oh, okay, Dallas. Okay. So everybody at home who's listening, if you're in the US, you can get this tea a lot quicker than in the past. So order and support these guys. At the last one I ordered, I got was, I think Kojicha was one of the last orders I got, and it came very quickly. And it was during COVID. So thank you. And that was good. And because when you order tea, you want to get it, like, you don't want to wait. You want it to like print out and come out right away, but you have to wait. But a few days is much better than 3 weeks. So
I know. Well, it is also that there are great companies out there doing it very quick. Like if you order from Amazon something, you get it so fast. So we get used to it, and I understand you don't want to wait 2-3 weeks for tea, which is absolutely understandable.
But sometimes you have to wait for quality too. So that's it. It's worth it. It's worth it. So
there was a little bit our excuse, but now I think now we're fine, and we're very happy that we could manage this, and now we see where it goes. I think we try really to just find just amazing tea in Japan, and really try to develop also a little bit this organic side, because the organic tea is not really known in Japan. But in Japan, when you go there, there's actually quite a crisis around Japanese green tea, because because it's a little bit this older generation versus younger generation. So if you're young and a student, you drink coffee. Now, when you're Japanese. So kind of this spirit of the tea with the family and everything, it gets lost a little bit. And even Japanese people wrote us in English, which is quite rare, because Japanese in general don't speak too much English. And they said, wow, we're learning more from you guys or you telling me actually more than I knew about green tea, and I'm Japanese.
Oh my gosh.
So it was quite a funny exchange, which we had.
That is interesting.
And that's why they're also moving more versus the Western markets. And that's why also our boom around green tea in general helps them, certainly. But we are demanding more organic than for example, the Japanese, because Japanese people, they just believe our food is good. It doesn't need to be organic. So That's why it's also harder to find, for especially farmers who sell their tea just locally. They're not really kind of stressing the point of Japanese or organic Japanese green tea. But it's developing.
But that's interesting too, because you're literally taking the leaves and you're boiling hot water over them. If there's pesticides on it, you're brewing it in your cup with everything else. So organic seems to be so important. And I think in one of your documentaries, you were saying that's why Mr. Sakamoto, I think it might have been why he went to organic, because some of his family members were getting sick. It could have been somebody else, but I thought that was interesting too, because he was a tea farmer and that was his impetus behind doing it. So, and you guys make it interesting. If you think about it, you're literally taking hot water and pouring it over like leaves, which could be the most boring topic ever if not done right. So you guys do a good job to make it interesting. And oh, I dropped something, but I'm on my second brew here, so let's keep going.
Let's have some more brews. No, that's, you know, like for sure they wash the leaves, and even if there are pesticides on it, they really wash them. So there's actually no real danger when you drink pesticide tea. But the thing is, it's a little bit the inside of the tea. There are always a little bit of residues, and we just said to ourselves, okay, we don't want to have even the residues. The problem is you cannot really eat the leaves then, because the pesticides are more in the leaves, but they're not dissolvable into the water. So it's okay still to, I don't want to kind of say, oh, if you drink no problem, non-organic green tea, it's dangerous, because they have a lot of safety standards there. But it's just if you want to have one where you want to be sure, then go for the organic.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, why not? You could see. All right, here we go. The second brew. I don't know if you could see. Normally it shows up so green.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah, that's I like it actually when a little bit the vegetable taste comes in. I must say the first super interesting, because you have these fruity notes, a little bit of lychee, mango, pineapple, some around there. But the second one is kind of mixes a little bit of grassy, a little bit of spinachy tones in. I like that. It's like the sweet spinachy flavor of.
So how do you get, were you always like a super taster, like with wines and different food, because you're able to pick out all these flavors, whereas I'm just like, it's good, I like it, or it's not good, I don't like it. But you're like pulling all these things out. I wait to hear from you. You're like, I taste mango. I'm like, yeah, I taste mango. You're like, I taste lychee. I'm like, me too then. But otherwise, I have no idea what I'm tasting. So were you always like that, or is that something you developed over time?
Yeah, I developed it definitely. So if you go back way back, our first video, I did it in 2017. There's actually one video, just the very first. It's so funny. And I looked horrible on this, because that was exactly the moment my girlfriend broke up with me, and I went to Japan. And it was a horrible time, I remember. And there, it developed from there. So really, and you have to force yourself. And that's also the good thing for me, if I do the lives or if I do the videos. It's like really I train myself to really look for the taste, and then you just develop it over time. It's something, I'm certainly something you also found out over time, that you start to taste more of the tea and find more different flavors for yourself.
Right. And then which brewing styles work for you, which times you like better, what temperatures, everything else. So yeah, just by trial and error too. So I'm going to go back and watch that video. That sounds like a good one. You're at like this crazy turning point in your life, and here you go. I think
don't
that
expect too much. It's very long. I did it with Pascal, the other guy who started the company with me. So this was even the era before Will joined me. And then we just uploaded it. I have to look for, I think it's on our channel. I think it is. It should be it's forever.
I'm gonna have to see. I think she lost out, the ex-girlfriend. Now she's got to even pay full price for tea. So I think she really bad timing.
Well, to be honest, she doesn't yet order, so maybe there's a reason. But really. Actually, where she lives, there's a small there's a Japanese woman. She also imports tea. And she just sells it around the house, and she invites people, and then she shows the new teas she finds in Japan. Which
that's cool.
Yeah. That's how
that is pretty cool.
How I got in touch with good quality is she was buying from this Japanese lady. I'm not sure if she still does it. And that was a little bit how I discovered also the higher quality, and to really see, okay, there are really vast differences, so big differences between the quality also in Japan. Yeah.
And well, speaking of finding the new teas that she's bringing, anything big and exciting coming up with the holidays coming? Anything new you guys have that you're bringing to the lineup that you're excited about?
Yeah, actually, we have 2 new teas. They just arrived. No, they will arrive in an hour in our warehouse.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yes, we have 2 new teas coming, and there's a third one coming, which we are now. I found actually. So I was always asked about the kabusecha.
Yes, I asked you about that before.
You asked me about it. Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Actually, I found one, and super interesting. It's a Goku kabusecha. So it's Goku is quite a rare varietal, and this is kind of, it's a very nice kabusecha. It's a little bit a lighter one, sweet, and this we will bring, I think, in the next 30 days we should have it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's good.
New one's coming. Yeah.
Okay, so perfect. Yeah, because look,
next month, 1 new tea,
right.
And we will have also a latte grade matcha. So for people who want to do a matcha latte, we will have a little bit of lower quality and lower priced matcha. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. People could get that bulk. Well, it is fun because last year, I know for the holidays, for Christmas, someone got me one of your mega samplers, and that was so cool to open up on Christmas Day. I laid it all out, and it lasted me 2 months or whatever, and you got to sit there and try a new one, and it definitely makes it a fun experience. Aside from getting one that you really like, but I just love getting the sampler. Is really fun. So that's probably my next purchase. Go mega.
Yeah, that's we get a lot of positive feedbacks for the samples as well, and I think it's a good way just to try tea, to have a little bit, like you said. I started with the Sencha sampler and discover a little bit the different tastes, and then find a little bit what the taste is, and then maybe write us and ask, okay, do you have more in kind of teas which are similar to this one, or? And I think it's I'm very happy that we started with this with the smaller samples, just for people to discover, because I was thinking the other day about it. The main difference between wine and tea is that in wine you really have like very known vineyards, very known wine producers, like the big ones like Chateau Lafite but also I think in the US, I'm not a wine connoisseur, so I don't know too many American wines, but and this is different in tea because people just want to try. There's no like this tea here. There are maybe 1 or 2, like the matcha. There's one matcha which is very famous. I always forget the name. And that's more or less it. So there are no big brands, and so people go really over to trial and error, and then the samplers is just, it's a good way for them to start.
Right. No, that's it. Right, because you just look maybe the type of tea, the region. It depends how much. You could go broad and just go, I want a green tea, and then I think the biggest problem when people get Japanese tea, this is my problem. One day would taste amazing, and then another day would taste really bad and bitter because I didn't know the proper way to brew it. I was brewing it like Chinese tea, higher temp and for longer time. And then another day I might just accidentally brew it less, and all of a sudden I'd be like, this is amazing. What did I do differently? And I couldn't pinpoint it. And that's why I find your videos really helpful, because they showed, here's what you do. And this is, you said what you like, but it turned out what I liked as well with the second steeping and all of that. So it's cool. Yeah. And then just trying all that. The Chamusumi, I think it's how you say it, the Gyokoro, I've been loving too. That's such a great one. So that's another one I've got to reorder actually. So I'll get there.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's I'm a big fan of Mr. Sakamoto. He even he gave me this picture here from the lady. I don't know if you see it. It's like a lady.
Oh, that's so matcha. Cool.
So he's drawing it himself, and I'm just super amazed at him. We love him. We're big fans of him. Yeah, I think the most videos we did about a farmer was about him, but he also shares a lot with us. It's like he's completely convinced about the organic route he's taken with his brother. It's now 35 years ago they started this.
Right.
So he's just really an amazing guy.
I thought it was cool how he greeted you guys. He greeted you with the cold brew already in that Hario. That was great. Well, let me ask you actually, when someone like Mr. Sakamoto is brewing a cold brew then in that Hario glass, Are you doing like a tablespoon for 8 ounces? How much are you doing for that?
It's you can even go, wait, ounces are 8 ounces is 250, I guess. So you can even go up to 15, 16 ounces with 1 tablespoon.
Oh yeah,
The
for cold brew too.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
So you can really fill it up. So here I have the audio, so you can. This is now milliliters, so 500 milliliters. I think 500 milliliters are around 15, 16 ounces, I guess. And,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's so funny that we have 2 different measurements. I think it's always.
I know.
Because like every country tries to impose its own. No.
Right. No, I know. It makes
sense.
It's
fine. It's fine.
I usually pour 150 milliliters, I think, which is about 4 or 5 ounces, maybe something like that. So but just because that's where my measuring thing says. Otherwise, I do ounces. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then you leave it best. I always say best is overnight, but after 1 hour you can already take it. So, but if you want to have the kind of most complex flavor, overnight is great. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna do that maybe later. But I saw on your tea talk the other day with the fitness lady, I forget her name, but she was really good.
Sarah,
She was Sarah, yeah. She was talking about her morning routine and how she has matcha as part of it. So tell me, what do you do with your morning routine? Because you have a choice of any kind of tea in your arsenal too.
Yeah.
So do you have a specific one you go to, or you just go with whatever you feel for the day?
I go for the feel for the day. Yeah. And, to be honest with you, I do not really have a morning routine. So she's like, she was really stressing it on the morning routine. And I was like, yeah, maybe I should too. I did it for 2 weeks, but I'm always like a little bit, I like to change up things. I like to wake up early one day, then sleep in a little bit longer. It's like, I have to mix around. I have to kind of, it's like too much structure. It's not something I like a lot.
Right. Well, I see. She said, like me, I also have kids, just like she does. Yeah. I'm assuming. Do you have any children?
No, I don't. Not yet.
No? So you don't need a morning routine, right? I think she and I were similar in that we have to get up early before the kids are up and then do what we need to do before we're then serving them. So maybe that's how you develop a morning routine.
I think so. Yeah, I think children is just mega responsibility finally, because you really have to look after. And I think there's much more likely that you just to kind of free up some time for yourself. I think this is what Sarah also, she was explaining. It's about the freeing up some time for yourself.
Yeah.
And kind of having space to breathe, because you are with kids. I see it with my sister. She has now kids of 8 and 9 and 11. And they're just very demanding, which is normal for kids, and you have to be there present. And I think you need to create your spaces to breathe. Everybody does, and then a morning routine can be a great thing to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. And now I know my 2 kids are doing virtual schooling online. So if I'm not working or on set somewhere, then I'm home. And so, I'm busy with them throughout the day, unless I'm, out working. So it is it's a big commitment, a rewarding commitment. But if you can squeeze in a little tea here and there, that's a nice break too. So,
exactly. Yeah. Do you have a morning routine?
I do. Yeah. Every morning I get up early also before my kids are up. And I've been surfing my whole life. So if the waves are good and it's light out, I'll go for a surf. My father, who's in his 70s, still surfs, which is so cool. And he passed it down to me. Now I go with my kids, but normally if I'm not doing that, I get up early, I do a nice workout. And when I'm done with the workout, I have a glass of tea, usually the first steep, and I do nothing else. I just sit here. Here in Florida, we normally have nice weather. So I'll just sit outside quietly. I have a nice quiet backyard, and I would just drink my tea, no distractions, nothing else. When I move on to the second or third steep, if I have time, then maybe I'll read a book or watch something or do whatever. But that first steep is like, that's nothing, just myself and the cup. And I look forward to it. I wake up, can't wait to get my workout done so I can get to that first steep. And every day I'm like, oh, it's so exciting. So that's why the sampler's fun, because you wake up, you're like, what do I want to try today? I don't know. So that's cool to have a variety.
It was funny the other day. When I did when I was the Sato, when I did the Yamaga no Sato tasting, I was like, what's the tea I want? Actually, I want the sencha. So, and then it was like, I was like, hopefully I get the sato. And then it was like, oh yeah, I got it. Yeah,
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah, that was funny. You got the one you wanted. That was perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good. It's good
So,
stuff. Yeah.
Now I'm curious about a little bit about your day. So you were kind of, was it a kind of a pivoting into TV, or how did you did you kind of strategically decide with the, I don't know, 12, I want to go on TV, so let's see what I can do?
No, actually, it was an interesting pivot in our lives. My wife and I, interestingly, we first met in 4th grade. We were 9 years old. So we met at a very young age, very lucky to do that. And so we always worked together. We went to the same college. We owned businesses together. One in New Jersey at one point, one in North Carolina. We were traveling up and down the East Coast. And then after a while, my wife started doing some modeling and commercial acting on the side. And she was like, hey, kind of brought me into the fold as we were closing down some of our businesses anyway, because they had run their course. And we just ended up doing well, being successful early on with castings and auditions and booking, and then meeting up and signing with different agencies throughout the East Coast of the United States, and able to segue into a good career. And now we're both, on TV, doing TV hosting or guest hosting on national spots, and all different, programs and commercials that you may or may not see, or may see and not realize it's us, but we'll drive by and go, hey, there we are. The other day we were driving on a big highway here, and we saw my wife on one of the billboards. But if you were just driving by, you would say, oh, that's just a person on it. But of course, we recognize her or other people we work with. So that was full time. We've been doing that a little over 5 years or so, and we're able to both do it, thankfully, full time. It's a wonderful job. No 2 days are alike. It's fun when you're on set shooting a commercial, or if you're on live TV. That's awesome, because that's like, a rush. And
I imagine live TV is quite it's challenging, no? Because I think the YouTube age has changed it a little bit, but it used to be very stressful because you really have to get it right.
Right.
Do you react?
Well, if I'm doing a live TV with a product that I'm working on, I will work tirelessly to learn the product backwards and forwards, because once you have that knowledge down, now I'm comfortable. And so I'm naturally comfortable on camera or talking on camera. So once you get the knowledge down, then you can just have fun with it. So it doesn't make it's not nerve-wracking now. It's just more exciting, I guess, because it's just fun. It's, it's fun to do. And it's better than just, I say, going on YouTube or something, because it's a big production usually. And when you're on set, if you get to be, it is cool. It's fun being on set. I mean, look, you have people helping you and taking care of you and feeding you. It's like, being a child for the day. It's kind of cool. So whenever we get that, we're very blessed and thankful and appreciative that we get to do it. That's for sure.
Do you realize that the YouTube or the social media age changed a lot, or is it just an additional layer just was coming into the whole?
For us, it expands it, because where it used to just be TV opportunities, say for commercials or whatever, now we can shoot spots internally for a website, or just for YouTube, or just for social media. And for my own social media, I can post. I use it mainly to just post, other work that I've done. So people who are looking to hire a TV spokesman or a TV host or whatever can look and see the work I've done, and they say. And I get people that reach out and go, oh, we like what you do. We like your on-air style, or whatever it is. We'd like to work with you. And then, so you get a lot of bookings just like that. So it's kind of a portfolio. That's how it works for me. And then it gives you other avenues to connect with people, on a fun level like this, but also for work. I get hit up all the time from people who are like, hey, I want you to do this project. I liked what you did on Instagram. I go, let's go. So
okay, let's do it.
It's very rewarding that way. Yeah. So it's nice. Good. Yeah.
So you really actually,
yeah.
Nice. You actually manage your own time then, or is it kind of you're in an agency and then you just call your agent and say, okay, this guy's interested, maybe see what you can do, or is it really you yourself managing it?
I do have agents that I work with, but they're only on specific jobs. There's plenty that I just handle myself. So I work with a bunch of different agencies, but none are exclusive. So I could do it however I want. And So a lot of times I just work it myself, and then you're in more control of your schedule. You're in more control of what you want to say yes to or no to. You know, there's certain projects you don't want to be involved with or associated with. So you want to have some integrity with that too when you can. And but then I'll have agents reach out and say, hey, Chad, I'm looking for somebody for this project. They are looking for you, or send over an audition tape. So it works either way. And it's good that I can do it or they can do it. And I'll do it however, whatever gets you the booking works for me.
Yeah. Because you said before, it's like it's a job which is like none of the days are the same. Is there is there some kind of a need for you then to bring a little bit more structure in? Do you have kind of a routine on set you do just to kind of focus yourself, or?
Yeah. Sure. Well, maybe that's one reason I have a morning routine too. When I can, because I'm either out on set and it could be busy all day, or who knows where or what part of the state or country, or I may be home with nothing to do. So it goes from like a big disparity between totally off or totally busy. And right before I go on, if it's live TV, about 20 minutes before I go on, I always have a nice cup of matcha. And I just sit there, drink it, breathe, and it gives me great energy. I mean, you have adrenaline anyway to go on live TV, but the matcha just gives you that calm, alert feeling like everybody talks about. And when I'm on, and it just is like good to sit there and breathe before. And I think, and maybe even when going into big auditions where you're in front of people and you really have to perform, I think having tea, having matcha in your life gives you that meditative calmness. And that may have resulted in more success for me because I had that tool to keep me calm and grounded instead of getting nervous. And I attribute it to that for sure. So matcha, that's when I have it before I go on. Yeah.
No, matcha
Otherwise I do sencha.
Matcha is really, by general green teas, the good thing about the green tea is that you have the theanine, which is this calming kind of natural calming amino acid, which is in the tea. And this is, I think, what makes you alert, due to the fact that there's caffeine in it, but this kind of calming effect, it's super nice of green tea.
Yes.
This is, I think, especially when you have phases where you need to focus and be kind of present and really zoom into the moment, I think a drink like green tea can really help you in comparison, for example, to a coffee, which gives you the alertness, but can drift you a little bit off into the nervousness.
Oh yeah. And coffee for me you get that jittery feeling, and then I actually get really tired. So coffee has a bad effect. I enjoy it once in a while, but for me, when you have tea, you just feel so alive, so full of good energy, and you don't crash. And when I have coffee, I notice it. It's like borrowed energy from later in the day that I have then when I have the coffee, and later on I'm like, I can't even stay awake. So
and then you have to drink the coffee again to just
it's a vicious cycle.
It's a vicious cycle, but maybe that's why it works so well,
Yeah, right. It's much more addicting, and it's very easy, unlike tea where you have to kind of quiet down, slow it down, and brew it properly. Coffee, you can throw it in, press a button, you get that instant jolt, and you're on your way, which goes with a lot of people's lifestyles. But again, that's why I said I've been on set and I'll just grab a little travel set. I'll brew some good tea, heat up some water, and get some of the crew around or the other talent that's on camera with me. And we all take a break and have tea. And everybody's like, oh, this is so cool. It's so different. And it's a nice break. So I like doing that and sharing it with everybody too. So, and I've given out your info. Many times I've given out your info. So hopefully you're getting orders from it too.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Out of curiosity, when you drink with the crew, is it kind of, for them, is it kind of just also settling in the moment as well with the tea session you do with them, or is it like, do they also have the same feeling do they confirm your feeling?
Yeah, it's usually just like, hey, a quick break. I'll brew it up. Be like, hey, let's have some. Give it a try. It's a few minutes because usually people are pretty busy, but without a doubt, every time the response I get is, oh my gosh, I had no idea tea could be this good, or I thought I liked tea because I was having so-and-so brand tea bag. And then they like to look at the leaves and they like to smell the leaves and then smell it brewed in the cup. So they're getting all this more sensory experience than they're used to. And they had no idea that tea could be like that. Like you say, like a wine, So it's just fun seeing them get that experience too. And they do feel energized. I was recently on a surf trip right before COVID to Puerto Rico. And when we'd go for that afternoon surf session, when you're in a surf trip, you do nothing, but you're just surfing with your buddies. My brother comes. And so you're going all day. So we would go and I would brew up some green tea in the afternoon for everybody before we go back out. And everybody was saying how great they felt because they weren't getting that crash and they felt that good energy. So that kind of became a little routine too. So I brought my little set with me. At first they were laughing, like, what are you doing bringing this, with you? And by the end of the trip, they're going, hey, where's our tea? Where's our
where's the tea?
Yeah. So
you might have created a very special experience and also something to remember for your friends making the surf trip with you,
That's right. Yeah. And there's actually in Japan a really big surf culture and obviously the big tea culture. So that's one of the top spots I'd love to visit and see all that. At some point I'll go. The closest I've gotten is your documentary. So one of these days, once travel lifts, I'll get there. Yeah,
often I go to Okinawa because I'm a lower intermediate surfer. So I go to, I really like Okinawa. So there you can surf very well. Yeah. So,
that's cool. So you've done it there?
Yes. I've never I never was on the main island, but also on the main island there are quite some surf spots, quite some known surf spots.
Oh yeah.
So
big time, yeah. So
but Okinawa is a special place. Yeah.
I've only seen it from the Karate Kid 2. That's all I know about Okinawa.
Sarah was telling me too about Okinawa. It's like where they have the matcha ceremony, she told me. It's true.
Yeah, you've got to watch it.
Yeah, I really have to watch it.
My son is 14 and I just introduced him. I was like, all right, you're old enough. You've got to watch the Karate Kid. So we ended up watching number 1, 2, and 3 like over a weekend recently. And it was cool to see. And they do a, I believe the matcha ceremony as well. And they whisk it all up and everything. So it's cool to see. So they were way ahead of their time, I think, in introducing it to Western culture, because that was in the 80s where it wasn't as prevalent as it is now too, for sure.
Yeah, so now it's really, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's really our change a little bit in the society for looking for food, which is really kind of holistic, and not only just for pleasure or you really either you take the pills or whatever to just have the vitamins. And people are really trying to bridge this a little bit in the food, and I think in the drink. Oh yeah, it's a very obvious thing to do. So and
it's becoming more accepted. I became a vegetarian about maybe 18 years ago or so, and when I first started, my wife as well, we couldn't find anywhere to eat, or if we go to a restaurant, they didn't have options. But now it's that kind of mindset is so prevalent. You can go everywhere and there's good options to eat, and it's done the same thing more and more with the tea culture here, at least here, and from what I'm seeing in the States as well. So it's nice to see. It seems like we're going on the right path in that sense, at least. So that's good. Well, what is your favorite? What is your favorite? Do you have a favorite tea, or is it just your mood shifts and then that's how you determine it?
My favorite tea. I must say I like my favorite tea is definitely the Fukamushi. But I have also to switch around a little bit. Sometimes it's Gyokuro, sometimes I have to go for a normal sencha. But in general, I like a lot the Fukamushi. Actually, I'm a little bit drawn to the Murasaki than to the Yamaga. So this, I think the Murasaki is definitely a tea I really like, or the Asatsuyu as well, the green pack, the kind of the vibrant green pack, which we have. I think this is my favorite tea. And otherwise, I must say my girlfriend, she's a huge black tea drinker. So she's Spanish. And she's a huge black tea drinker. She likes green tea, but she likes black tea a little bit more out of the culture. And she makes me discover a little bit more black tea as well, which is from the feeling, it's similar to coffee because you don't have that much theanine in it. So it's not that calming, but the flavor can be really nice of a good black tea. Quite surprising as well. Yeah. Japan,
so it's good to mix.
Bit, but Not there yet.
I've had a Japanese black, the Wakocha, I think it's called. And it is, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. But as far as black teas go, yeah, if I'm going to go, I usually go with an Indian, like an Assam or something. But so in the morning, do you always have a caffeinated one, or would you have a Hojicha first thing in the morning, or do you like to get the one with a little more caffeine?
No, rarely. It's like the morning is always reserved for a stronger tea.
Yeah.
So I often go either I go for gyokuro. Sometimes I go for matcha, but I'm more the leaf tea drinker, so I more go for leaf teas. And yeah, or a Fukamushi, or kind of it's a shaded tea. Like I always go for a shaded tea in the morning, so it has a little bit more sweeter and a little bit more complex. I like it. The thing is, what I like in the morning is when your kind of palate is much more open because you didn't have any food for a long time. Right. So it's often like this first sip, which is super complex, and it's a nice way to wake up. So
right, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure you look forward to it too. I know that's cool.
Yeah. I think I couldn't anymore. I'm completely addicted, but it's okay.
Right. That's awesome. No, I know it's fun to change and try them up, and sometimes you want to try a shinsha or a regular unshaded. I had the Asanoka sencha. I think that's how you say it. Yeah. That was fantastic, and I believe that's an asamushi, right? Just the regular old sencha.
Yeah, and it's super underrated actually. I'm also a big fan of the Asanoka because it has a slight. It's not a cereally note, but there's a little bit of a kind of cereally touch to it, which I like a lot with the green. So it's super interesting as well as a culture.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, I guess some of the teas that exhibit more of a nuttiness, I seem to like them, or maybe it's that cereal note. I don't know, but something about it I've been enjoying. So yeah, I've been enjoying this one too. This is good. So.
Yeah. No, it's like, to be honest, it's like my absolute favorite is within the teas is Okumidori. This is just a type of tea, or the varietal, which kind of attracts me the most. I think it's very good. It's pretty funny because Japanese think it's not such an interesting tea because it's very sweet, smooth, round, like a full body, but not much more. And they're looking a little bit for sometimes Mr. Yabusaki was a farmer we visited like 3 years ago, and he said, in Japan we want to have like the broad spectrum. We want to have a little bit the grassy, and the sweet taste, and the umami, and also the stringency. We want that too because we want to have this feeling that it's something healthy. And then and that's why the Yabukita is so big in Japan. This is like the main varietal of green tea is Yabukita, and it's like 70%, 75% Yabukita. It solved also problems for the farmers because it's frost resistant mostly, and on the other hand, the consumer really likes it because it's very broad in its taste spectrum, but it has a certain astringency with it, which we in the West don't like so much. So I think here in the West we're a little bit less drawn to it. But in Japan, it's huge. It's really, really big here.
But the Okumidori, so which one of your teas has that cultivar in it?
So you have a blend, which is the Sasahime Gyokuro.
Yeah.
Then the Washimine Matcha is made out of Okumidori, and there's actually a Henta Okumidori, which we carry.
Oh, okay, right. That's the Henta sencha. Is that? Yeah, I think I've had that.
But the Henta sencha also contains Okumidori, but there's even a Henta Okumidori, just a pure Okumidori tea. And
I'll have to try that one.
This is one of my I think it's my favorite. Yeah. It's like it's just different. It's just for me, it's a league on its own because it fulfills everything I'm looking for in a green tea with this round, smooth, sweet. And kind of there's also a little bit more density in the water with the Okumidori, in my opinion. I like that a lot.
Wow, that is high praise. I'm gonna have to order that one. That sounds pretty good. I'm sure I've had it with the sampler, but I don't know. It didn't stick out. I'll have to give it another try though. So
yeah, no,
there you go. You're gonna get a
this.
rush of orders for that Okamadori. So everybody get it before it sells out.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
one
like
of
it a lot,
Oliver's favorites.
yeah.
Oh, that's great. Good. I'm gonna try that one for sure. So I know
No, definitely, it's super. It's a super green tea, but finally, taste is very personal. So this is just my favorite. Yeah, because I haven't had it for a long time, but now that I start to talk with you about it, I was like, actually, it's Okamadori, which I like the most.
Yeah. Tomorrow, you're gonna have to have it tomorrow morning now.
Yeah,
I know. Well, that's.
I could, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. Now you're gonna have to wait though. I know no caffeine after 6 p.m. I've watched your videos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, sometimes what you actually can do is you cold brew the tea, then you extract much less of the caffeine. So you can do it. And that's very nice when you take gyokuro, which is strong in caffeine, but when you cold brew it, it's much. You have like a third or a fourth of the caffeine in it, so it's quite weak. But you have a lot of the theanine. So it really calms you down. So if you want to kind of calm yourself, then gyokuro, cold brew gyokuro, it's definitely, so you can maybe try it with the chamusume if you have the chance.
I'm going to try that. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that. Now, normally, I only, even when it's 100 degrees here in Florida, I only had the hot tea, but I will, I'll have to cold brew it and give it a try. So I don't know. I just like the hot. But
now the hot season is over, or is it still hot in Florida?
It's always hot season here. It's all relative. So,
really?
I mean, yeah, well, in Florida, I mean, right now it's probably in 80s Fahrenheit. So it's still pretty warm out. I was swimming this morning for my workout. So it does get cooler relative to what it was, but it stays pretty warm all year. But I have hot tea and I sit out there when it's 90 degrees. I don't care. So I like it. I feel like it cools me off.
In Florida, it's pretty funny. A friend of mine, he did a student exchange to Pensacola. And then I visited him in Pensacola, and we made a road trip down to Miami. And that's true. It was January and it was super warm. That's true.
That's a long drive. Pensacola to Miami. That's like 8 hours or so. Wow. Because Florida's a big state. That's far.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was the time either we go to New Orleans or we go down to Miami, and then you had the floods. There was 2005, 6 around there. But you had this massive floods in
Katrina.
Yeah, from the Hurricane
Katrina.
Exactly, yeah. And then we decided to go down to Miami. Yeah.
You end up in Miami. It's not the worst place to end up. Did you enjoy it? It's fun, right?
I did, yeah. I liked it a lot. But for me, as a European, the coolest thing are just at the gas station, the burger restaurants. These are I went the second time to the US to visit a friend who was studying in Phoenix, Arizona, and then we went to Las Vegas together, so just for the experience.
Yeah.
Actually, on the road trip, we just went from burger restaurant to burger restaurant to just eat always burgers, because the burgers in the US, they're just a level on its own. So we really.
You mean like different fast food restaurants? Is that where you're stopping, or
no? It's like we are not looking too much for the fast food restaurants, but really for this kind of burger places. Where you go.
Right. I got you.
They're like independent. Right. But you're a vegetarian, so it doesn't talk to you too much.
I just keep driving.
Exactly.
Although now they have those meat-free burgers by Beyond Burger and Impossible Burger, which are really fantastic. I grill them and they taste like regular burgers. Yeah, they're really good.
I was super surprised. I had it last year here. There was a food festival and they actually had it, and I was super surprised how close the taste gets to an original burger. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And so where you guys are, I see you do the green market or the farmers market too. You have your own stand, right?
Yeah, we do. I closed down one now at the moment due to COVID, but Björn, who is helping me with market, he still does it. And at the moment people drink a lot of tea.
You get a good response from that at the farm market? You get a good response?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they like it. We sold full packs there, but now we started to introduce as well the samplers. So
that's a good idea.
A lot of people are very it's once, I think, if you find good tea and you like it, you just more or less stick to that source.
Right.
That's what we are experiencing. Yeah.
And it's hard to find. It's hard to find good quality tea, because otherwise, if you go to just another tea place, they go, okay, here's our green tea. It's Essentia, and now you're like, well, what kind of Essentia? Where's it from? Is it light steamed? Is it heavy? You know, so there's so many questions. Essentia is not just Essentia, and then you end up getting and it's low quality, not a lot of flavor. So it's important, if you find a good source like you guys are, to stick with it and support it. And that's what I try to do too. And that's why it's been so much fun talking to you and going over all this. Yeah, for sure. So I'm glad.
It's great. Yeah, happy that you found a source which you like, and we're very happy that we can have you. And this talk is just amazing. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Oliver.
Taking your time. And yes, I hope we keep continue chatting. And please keep posting these beautiful. I love the videos, the photos you do all the time with the glass in the air. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Yes, I'll have to do one coming up. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a privilege and an honor talking to you. And it was fun sharing a cup of tea from across the world. I mean, how else do you get to do that, right? That's pretty cool. So that's awesome. So thank you so much, and keep up the great work.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, we will try to do our best. And then we just keep chatting over Messenger, or if you ever have a question, you can come to us and just ask us.
I know, absolutely. Okay. Awesome. Thanks again, Oliver. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.